Yo guys, what's up? I want to talk about the one critical habit that guarantees muscle growth for skinny guys just like yourself. Real quick, if you are a skinny guy, if you are a skinny natty guy under 30 who is trying to build drug-free muscle with just 2 workouts per week, this video is for you. If you are not that thing, then this video might not apply to you, which is totally okay. There still might be some things you can learn, so feel free to check the video out. So, it's not a whole lot that I want to talk about. The list is kind of small. It's just a few things that we'll talk about real quick, kind of keep the video kind of short. So, number one, it's not motivation. Motivation is not the one critical habit I want to talk about. It's actually consistent progression, or in other words, if you guys have heard it before, it is actually progressive overload. Progressive overload is basically trying to strive for more reps or more weight every single time you guys work out. There's some other ways to implement progressive overload as well too. So I think it's like 5 or 6 off my head if I can remember. It's either trying to hit more reps, trying to hit more weight, trying to do more sets, trying to decrease the rest time between sets, or perfecting your form. It's those 5 things. So I'll give you an example. That way you guys can properly understand progressive overload if you don't quite understand it yet. Say you bench press on Mondays and you want to implement progressive overload. Well, on Monday, let's say you bench press your 1 plate, you have 45 on each side of the bar, you bench press your 1 plate for 10 reps. Okay, that's great. How do we implement progressive overload? Well, let's say it's next week, it is next Monday, and it's time for you to bench press again. So instead of just bench pressing 1 plate for 10 reps, we try to increase the reps and we try to bench press 1 plate for 11 reps. So you see how we went from 10 reps to 11 reps, we increased the reps. That's just one example. That's the rep example. Let's talk about the weight example. Same scenario, you're bench pressing. Say you bench press your 1 plate for 10 reps. Great, perfect. Next week, instead of trying to bench press 1 plate for 10 reps, let's add one of those little 2.5 plates on each side. So now we're looking at adding 5 pounds total, and we're bench pressing, instead of 135 pounds, we're bench pressing 140 pounds for 10 reps instead of 135 pounds for 10 reps. So you see how we increased the weight by 5 pounds. That got harder, so we're still implementing progressive overload. Another thing you can do is increase the sets. So let's say on Monday you do 4 sets of bench press. Next Monday, try to do 5 sets. That's the set example. Let's talk about decreasing the rest times. So let's say you do 4 sets of bench press typically and you rest 2 minutes between each set. Next week, instead of resting for 2 minutes, try to rest 1:30 minutes. So you see how you decreased the time. You're making it a little bit more challenging for yourself. The last thing that you can do is try to make sure that your form and technique are absolutely perfect. How do you do that? For your 10 reps that you do on Monday of bench press, when next Monday comes around, really try to focus on making sure your reps and technique, your pauses on your reps are absolutely perfect. That'll make it a little bit harder. And that's another way to implement progressive overload as well too. So those are the 5 different examples of how you can implement progressive overload. The other thing you need to focus on is making sure you log every single workout. The importance of logging your workouts is making sure that you can keep track of the numbers, because it's a lot to remember, especially if you're trying to implement progressive overload for every single exercise. Like imagine trying to keep track of the sets and reps and weights for all 10 exercises you do in your routine. That's kind of a lot. So what do I recommend? I recommend you guys use the app Boost Camp, totally free app. Just look up Boost Camp in the Play Store or on the Apple Store. It's this app right here, totally free. There's a paid version as well too, but the free version works out great. How it works is it basically lets you track your guys' workouts. It's super easy. You just pick the exercise you're doing and then you fill in the sets, reps, numbers, and weights. Super easy. Once you guys download it, you'll figure it out in just like a few minutes. It's super easy to use. But that's the app that I suggest you guys use for tracking your workouts. The other thing is that you're able to review your past performance, so it makes it super easy to implement progressive overload because it shows you what you did last week. So just remember, push yourself a little further every single time you work out as best as you can. There's going to be days where you can't physically push yourself further, but hey, maybe like I said, you can do something a little bit easier, like decrease the rest time, or if you can do just 1 more rep than you did last week, or even something as small as adding a 2.5 pound plate to your exercise. As long as you're getting stronger, then you're implementing progressive overload. And like I said, that's the one critical habit that is the most important for guaranteeing muscle growth as a skinny guy like yourself. So I understand that this is kind of boring. It's not the most fun thing to implement, but guys, this is the most important thing. This is the most essential thing. Progressive overload is the one essential thing that I try to teach all of my clients. I try to teach everybody this because it's the most important. Like I said, it's kind of boring. It's not super flashy, but if you guys want to grow, this is the one thing that you should absolutely master and make sure you're implementing every single time you work out. So that's it for this video. If you guys are looking for more information, I've got a school community full of skinny, natty guys under 30 who are trying to build drug-free muscle with just 2 workouts per week, just like yourself. So if that sounds like you guys should check it out. I'll put the link in the description below. But anyways, if you guys like the video, leave a comment, maybe subscribe, hit the notification bell. If you guys hated the video, please let me know in the comments. Let me know that you hate me. But if not, peace out. See you guys in the next video. Have a good one.